Episode 12. The camera saw something. The camera did not blink. That was the problem. Ethan learned this standing outside the security office, watching through the glass as two adults leaned close to a monitor. One of them rewound the footage slowly. The other pointed at the screen with a pen, tapping the same spot again and again. They were not confused. They were careful. Care was worse. The footage came from a hallway camera near the East Wing, a place students pass through without thinking, a place too ordinary to matter, until it did. Ethan did not see the screen clearly, but he saw the reaction, the tightening of shoulders, the pause before speaking, the way one of them reached out and froze the frame with deliberate precision. The pressure behind Ethan's eyes surged hard, then fractured. Time hated being paused by something that was not it. By midday, the rumor spread. Not loudly, not wildly. In fragments. A camera caught something. A video skipped. Someone was in two places. Students whispered in corners. Teachers lowered their voices. Administrators walked faster. Phones pressed to their ears. Claire found Ethan near the stairwell, her face pale. "They saw it," she said. Ethan nodded. "Not the minute." "No," she replied. "The shape of it." The girl appeared just before last period, standing where she always did when things began to tilt, near the edge of the courtyard, half in shadow, half in light. "They replayed it too many times," she said. Ethan felt his stomach tighten. "What did it show?" "Continuity breaking," she replied. "A person entering a frame and not exiting it." The pressure surged violently. "That's impossible," Claire whispered. The girl looked at her gently. So was the mark. Until it wasn't. That night, the footage leaked. Not officially. Not intentionally. Someone filmed a screen with a phone. Low quality. Crooked angle. 30 seconds long. It spread faster than anyone expected. The clip showed a hallway. Empty at first. Then a student walked into frame. Took 3 steps. And stopped. Not frozen. Gone. The hallway remained empty. The clock in the corner continued ticking. The timestamp jumped forward exactly 1 minute. The student did not reappear. Ethan watched the clip in silence. The pressure did not surge. It recoiled. Comments flooded in. Fake. Glitch. Edited. But mixed among them were others. "I was there that day. That's the East Wing. That kid is real." Ethan recognized the jacket. Recognized the walk. His hands began to shake. By morning, the video was gone. Taken down. Flagged. Removed for violating guidelines. But removal did not erase memory. Or fear. At school, security presence doubled. Teachers took attendance twice. Doors were closed between periods. No announcement explained why. Ethan noticed something else. One seat was empty. Not temporarily. Permanently. The boy from the video did not arrive. No explanation was given. No announcement made. The class moved on. Claire whispered during second period. "Where is he?" Ethan did not answer. The girl stood outside the classroom door, looking in through the window. Her expression was tight, focused. "They took him," she said quietly later. Ethan's chest tightened. "Who did?" She shook her head. "Time did not. This time." The pressure pulsed once, sharp and offended. By afternoon, the story changed. An email was sent to parents. Calm, reassuring. A student had transferred unexpectedly due to personal reasons. Privacy was requested. Ethan read the message twice. The lie was clean. Too clean. He felt it when the mark on his wrist burned again. Stronger than before. Not pain. Warning. The phone vibrated. Unknown number. Removal stabilizes flow. Ethan stared at the message. "You erased him." Pause. Then, correction was applied externally. Ethan's breath caught. "You let it happen." Another pause. Longer. Then, observation created vulnerability. Ethan closed his eyes. The camera had not caused the disappearance. It had enabled permission. That evening, Ethan found the girl standing beneath the bridge, unmoving. "They crossed a line," he said. "Yes," she replied. They learned disappearance is easier than explanation. Will he come back? Claire asked quietly. The girl did not answer. Silence was the answer. Lights flickered across the city as night settled. Cameras adjusted. Systems synced. Feeds archived. Somewhere, a file was labeled and stored. Evidence. Ethan felt the pressure settle again. Heavier now. Not curious. Decisive. The phone vibrated one last time that night. Unknown number. Do not force visibility again. Ethan typed back slowly. You already showed us what happens. No reply came. The next morning, another desk was empty. Not the same one. A different student. Absent. Unmentioned. Ethan felt cold spread through his chest. This was no longer an anomaly. It was a method. At 3:07 that night, the missing minute arrived. This time, it was not quiet. Somewhere, a camera recorded an empty space where a person should have been. And this time, the space stayed empty. By the next morning, the hallway felt narrower. Nothing had changed physically. The same lockers. The same scuffed floors. The same posters curling at the edges. But people walked differently, shoulders pulled in, eyes down, as if space itself had become unreliable. Ethan felt it the moment he stepped inside the building. The pressure was no longer curious. It was organized. Attendance took longer than usual. Teachers paused after calling certain names, waiting a beat too long before moving on. The pauses were small but noticeable. Students glanced at one another, counting silently. One name was not called at all. No correction followed. Claire leaned close. They skipped him. Ethan nodded. They want it to feel normal. But it doesn't, she whispered. No, Ethan said. It feels edited. The administration made no announcement. That silence was deliberate. When silence came from authority, it was meant to close doors rather than open them. Questions were redirected. Conversations were interrupted. Students who lingered near offices were politely asked to move along. Ethan passed the security office again. The door was closed now, blinds drawn. Inside, a muted glow pulsed behind the glass. Someone was still watching. By midday, a second clip appeared, shorter than the first. Worse, this one showed a stairwell. A girl descended the steps, one hand on the railing, head turned slightly as if listening to someone behind her. Halfway down, the frame jittered. Not skipped, compressed. She was gone. The timestamp jumped forward. The railing vibrated briefly, then settled. The clip ended. Ethan watched it once, then once more. The pressure surged, then withdrew sharply as if stung. Time did not like repetition. The clip vanished within minutes, but not before enough people saw it. The effect was immediate. Phones buzzed nonstop. Messages flew between group chats and private threads. Screenshots circulated, blurred and incomplete, but enough to plant certainty. This was not a glitch. This was removal. The school panic did not erupt. That came later. First came adjustment. Students began moving in pairs. Teachers escorted classes between rooms. Doors remained open during lessons. Safety theater. Ethan noticed something else. The marks were darker. Not on everyone. On those who had watched the clips. Claire rolled her sleeve back during lunch. Her mark had deepened, the line more defined, as if pressed again while no one was looking. It reacted, she said. Ethan nodded. Observation leaves residue. The pressure pulsed faintly. Not angry. Alert. The girl did not come near the school that day. Ethan felt her absence like a hollow. He met her that night beneath the bridge, further back than usual, hidden from streetlights and cameras alike. They are triangulating, she said immediately. Through footage? Ethan asked. Through reaction, she replied. Who watched? Who shared? Who noticed? The pressure tightened briefly, then steadied. They believe the machine, Ethan said. They trust what doesn't forget, she replied. That night, a new explanation appeared online. A citywide announcement framed the incidents as data corruption caused by a recent software update. Officials apologized for confusion. They assured citizens no one was harmed. Ethan read the comments. Some believed it, others did not. But belief was not required. Compliance was. The phone vibrated. Unknown number. Recording alters outcomes. Ethan typed back. Then stop letting it record. A pause. Then, observation is external. Ethan felt a chill. Not anymore. The pressure recoiled slightly. The next day, the first absence became undeniable. A girl did not return home. Her parents waited until evening before calling friends. By nightfall, police were involved. The girl did not appear on any camera after the stairwell clip. Not leaving school. Not boarding a bus. Not entering her building. She simply stopped existing in the record. Ethan watched the news report silently. The parents stood together, hands clasped too tightly, pleading for information. No one mentioned the video. No one mentioned the minute. Claire cried that night. Not loudly. Quietly. She sat 2 rows behind me, she said. She was real. Ethan held her wrist gently. The mark there pulsed faintly, warm beneath his fingers. She was real, he said. The pressure wavered. The girl arrived just before dawn. Her face was pale. They crossed into the home, she said. Ethan's breath caught. They said it was personal reasons. They always do, she replied. Until enough people noticed the pattern. The pressure surged, sharp and irritated. They will choose one of you soon, she added. Ethan felt cold settle in his chest. Why? Because you are marked, she said. And marks attract correction. At school, the atmosphere changed again. This time, it did not try to hide. Security personnel stood in hallways openly. Teachers took attendance more frequently. Students were asked to remain in classrooms during breaks. Containment. Ethan noticed something worse. Names were being remembered selectively. A teacher hesitated before addressing a student, as if unsure. A classmate stared at a desk, confused about who usually sat there. Memory was thinning around absence. During last period, the pressure peaked. Ethan felt it building slowly, deliberately, like a tide rising without urgency. The clock on the wall ticked. 3:05, 3:06, 3:07. The room did not freeze. Instead, a single student stood up. A boy near the window. He looked around, confused. I feel strange, he said. Then he stepped forward. The pressure slammed down. The air compressed. Ethan tried to move. Could not. The boy took another step. And vanished. No sound. No flash. No distortion. Just absence. The clock continued ticking. 3:08. The pressure released. Screams erupted. Chairs scraped. The teacher shouted for calm. Ethan stood frozen, heart hammering. One of them had disappeared. Not on camera. In front of them. That night, the phone vibrated. Unknown number. Direct observation escalates consequence. Ethan typed back with shaking hands. You are taking people. A pause. Then, containment requires removal. Ethan closed his eyes. This was no longer about time. This was about control. The girl stood with Ethan beneath the bridge, eyes hollow. They won't stop now, she said. No, Ethan replied. They've learned what works. She looked at him sharply. Then we have to learn faster. The pressure hovered nearby, listening. Somewhere in the city, a parent waited for a child who would not return, and time adjusted itself to the silence.